Hello rock and metal fans, welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. I'm going to do the best songs of the year again. So yesterday did 1983, that fantastic year, and obviously we do it in order. So 1984 today, and brilliant, absolutely fantastic year for rock and metal. Such a difficult list to do. I had about nearly 30 songs that I wanted to put on the list, and I thought, well, I can't, I've got to whittle it down, and took some songs on it. It was off it. It was so painful to do because I wanted to include them all. Obviously, there's so many. I haven't doubled up on any albums. I haven't got two songs off. It's only one song. Even that was hard to get the best song to put on here. Oh God, this has been murder, this list. But so I left about 16 songs off or more. I've actually got 15, so I'm not going to talk about them too much because I don't want the video to go on forever. So some of these songs as well could have been whittled about in different orders, but I've had to put them in an order. So we're going to go with number 15, and that's Toto and Carmen. So Isolation came out this year, Toto album, my favourite album from Toto. The main reason for that, I think, is the vocals of Fergie Frederiksen. So he passed away a few years ago. What a voice. On this album, he's outstanding. And on Carmen track, which is the opening track of the album, he does a duel with the other vocalist in Toto, which his name's gone completely for me now, but they trade off. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. Shades of Journey all the way through that Isolation album, and they actually got a bit of stick for that, I think, at the time, saying it was a bit of a Journey, copy, but I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant melodic rock album, AOR melodic rock, superb. That was my number 15. My number 14, Judas Priest, Free Will Burning. I love this song. It's so heavy. There was talk about this was the invention of speed metal, apparently. I don't know about that, but it is fast. Brilliant, brooding track. Just proper. There's a real, the bit where Rob Halford, he sings a really difficult bit. It's not a high bit, but a fast bit. I think it's sort of really, it's a real fun track as well, but really heavy at the same time. That's off the Defenders of the Faith album. Love Free Will Burning. That's my number 14. Number 13, Armoured Saint, Can You Deliver? This was off the March of the Saint album, which is a debut album. I love this. I remember back, obviously I was 14 then, when Armoured Saint were about, Queensryche were about. There was them sort of bands at that time, that sort of, they're all very similar sort of styles, and the way they played. It was a superb time for metal. Armoured Saint, I don't know if they still dressed in with their armour at that time. They probably did because it was their first album, but love Can You Deliver. Brilliant vocal by John Bush as well, and I love it when the beginning of the song, before it comes into it, and when it actually goes into the song. Brilliant track, proper metal track. Number 12, Scorpions, I'm Leaving You, off Love at First Sting. So I was really finding it hard to choose a song off of this. I nearly went with Still Loving You because I love that. I love it when Scorpions do a ballad, but this is sort of halfway between a ballad and a, and not. It's a bit faster than a ballad, but it's very melodic. Just found it really hard to choose a song off this album. It ain't my favourite album from Scorpions, but it's got some really great tracks on it, and I'm Leaving You is. It's an excellent song. It's probably a bit of more of a deeper cut from them, not one that everyone would choose, but I love it. I think it's a brilliant track. My number 11. I'm going to get a lot of stick for this, but it's Survivor and Burning Heart. I'll tell you why I'm going to get stick for this, because I know that there's a lot of Survivor fans out there, and there's been people even on my, guessing what songs I'm going to choose from this year. And I know they brought out an album that's classed as a melodic rock classic in this year. I think it's Vital Signs. But you know, I don't get to listen to everything. And what I might do is start picking up on Survivor now, because I hear so many great things about them. But at the time, I only heard the singles, and I love Burning Heart. Even though, like I say, Survivor fans are going to be going mad at me. You know, there's so many better songs than Burning Heart. I just love it. I can't help what I love. I love Burning Heart, and I play it now. It makes me smile. You know, obviously it's off the Rocky 4 soundtrack. I don't think it was on an album. But it's brilliant. What can I say? If I like it, I like it. That's my number 11. Right, my number 10. Wasp. I Want to Be Somebody. This is an excellent track. So heavy. So different. You know what? There's so much energy in this song. I think this was their best album. Even though I love the next album as well, The Last Command. But I just think this was really heavy. It was really raw. It's such a good production as well. It really, like I said, it had that energy in it. I don't know. They were a hungry band, obviously, at the time as well. And this song, it just sums them up. Love I Want to Be Somebody. That's my number 10. My number 9, from one of my favourite 80s bands, Y&T. And it's I'll Keep On Believing. Do You Know? So this was off the In Rock We Trust album, which wasn't my favourite Y&T album. I thought it went after Mean Streak. It was a bit mediocre-ish. I say about Y&T, my theory of them not making it big was because I said it on my last, when Mean Streak was on my last one, is that they do an album and 2/3 of it are brilliant, or half of 2/3 of it, the songs are just outstanding, and then there's some throwaway tracks, and this is no exception in Rock We Trust, in my opinion. But there were some great tracks as well. The slower ones on this, I Keep On Believing, obviously that's my favourite track. This Time, which closed the album off, it's a really sad song. I don't know, it feels sad, but I think it's about a relationship that's getting better. But I just think when they go melancholy, Y&T, there's not a lot of bands that do it better. So that was my number 9. My number 8, Rat, The Morning After, from the Out of the Cellar album. So yet again, an album full of songs I could have taken off of it. You had the hits, you know, Round and Round, Back for More was on there, Wanted Man, you know, there's so many tracks I could have chose, but they do that deeper cut here, The Morning After, that and In Your Direction are my favourite songs off the album. But The Morning After has made it as my track off Rat, and there's going to be lots of Rat coming on in the future years that I'm going to cover as well. What a great track though. My number 7, my favourite track by this band, and that's Whitesnake, Love Ain't No Stranger, off the Slide It In. Oh, my favourite album by them, my favourite track by them. I think the next album would have been the 1987 album. But for me, even though that's classed as an absolute classic, it did have some brilliant songs on it, I prefer this album. I think it is a lot better. John Sykes was on here, and he was an amazing guitarist, and absolutely brilliant song, Love Ain't No Stranger. I just can't get enough of it. It's sort of classed as a ballad, but it's heavy as well. Absolutely fantastic covered out vocals. And I'm probably going to be doing a reaction to a new song by them later on, off their new album that's come out. It's a remix compilation album thing, but they've got one new song on it, so I'm going to do a reaction to that later, I would have thought, so keep an eye on that. My number 6, getting a bit lost here, so many blooming songs. Right, here we go. Metallica, Fade to Black, off the Ride the Lightning album. For me, like, I didn't include anything off Kill 'Em All in my in the year where that come out, but Ride the Lightning for me was a huge step up in melody. It was a real heavy album at the same time, obviously a thrash album, but you see where I'm going with this. Fade to Black was my favourite song. It's got the most melody in it, that crunching riff, and also the beginning after they come out of the first clean guitar acoustic bit, and there's like a second bit that changes just before it goes into the song, and it rides through the verses. Oh, it's brilliant. And then when that heavy guitar cuts in, I think at the time I'd never heard anything so heavy in my life. I thought, oh my god, when that kicked in, what a riff, what an absolute, when Metallica were at their best at. So that was my number 6. My number 5. Now, people will say, you know, overplayed and all that, but I love this song. It could be my favourite Van Halen song, and that's Panama off 1984. I know it was a single. I know it's constantly played everywhere. Got so many memories of this song. I mean, I've even got a memory. I used to go to a pub. Well, this is obviously when I was 14. I used to get in pubs then when I was 14. And we used to put this on a video jukebox thing, and it was a pretty amazing thing to have back then. You know, in 1984, it was like a jukebox that played videos, not just songs. And I used to watch the video with my brother and mates and that in the pub. Excellent. Love Panama. So much energy. One of the best albums that come out in that year as well. And it's heavy. It's really heavy. It's brilliant. Right, my number 4. Probably a bit of a surprise. Some people so high up on the list, but you got to hear this if you haven't heard it. And that's White Sister and Can't Say No. Off the debut album. I couldn't stop playing this debut album. I've even got it on vinyl still. And it's one of like 3 albums that I've started that I've got. I know it's ridiculous, but I got rid of all my vinyl. What an idiot. And then I saw this about a year ago in Whitstable in a record shop. Picked it up like for a £5 or something. Absolutely love White Sister. Only 2 albums made. How disappointing is that? Can't Say No is an absolute epic melodic rock masterpiece. Absolutely brilliant. I was actually thinking it could be higher up than 4 on this list, but I put it as number 4, but you'll see when I tell you the rest of them. My number 3, Queensryche, Take Hold of the Flame, off the Warning album. Like I say, this came out around the same time as the Armoured Saint album. You know, they were about, obviously, on the debut album as well. And when I heard Jeff Tate's voice, you know, it's similar to when you first heard Bruce Dickinson's voice, when you heard him on Hallowed Be Thy Name with that stretching note at the beginning. When you hear Jeff Tate sing that beginning bit, and then obviously a lot of you guys being metal fans have probably checked out the live in, I think it's Live in Tokyo, Take Hold of the Flame video, and he just matches it just spot on. I mean, he's got such an outstanding voice, and the guys in Queensryche, even now, are producing some brilliant music. If you don't listen to Queensryche because you just think Jeff Tate is Queensryche, think again. Get hold of the new albums. Been screaming out, you Queensryche fans have been screaming out for old Queensryche style after that long period of bad albums. Well, you got it now. Get the albums, get the 3 new albums. They are fantastic, especially the last 2. So that was my number 3. My number 2, Dio, The Last in Line. It had to be on here. I was really fighting myself for what track to put on here, because even though Last in Line is so fucking brilliant, one of the deeper cuts on the album, which I love, is One Night in the City. I nearly put One Night in the City on here, and I was fighting myself over it. But The Last in Line has got all them elements in it from Dio with a classic track. It's a longer song. It's a more epic song. It's got that lovely little bit of clean guitar with him singing over the beginning. And then when it kicks in with his roar, there's no one else that does it better, is there? Absolutely brilliant. So my number 1. You're probably thinking, I know what it's going to be. You're probably right. And that's Iron Maiden. But the song that I'm choosing off of Power Slave is Rime of the Ancient Mariner. This was something else back then. Like I'm saying, if you saw my ranking the songs, I think this made it to my top of the songs on Iron Maiden songs as well. It's just it's relentless, this song. It's got that love, even the little bit, usually when you listen to a 13-minute song, there might be some bits that you're like, you know what I mean, it just goes on a bit. This is just all the way through it, all the changes in it, all those, it's just outstanding song. I just can't get enough of it, and I play it now, and it just blows my mind still. And there's bands that do play 13-minute songs. There's bands that play blooming 20-minute songs now, but no one done it. No one has matched Rime of the Ancient Mariner, in my opinion, when it comes to an epic long song, and it was unheard of back then. It was unheard of. A 13-minute song, that's just ridiculous. But they did it, and they did it in style, didn't they? So that's it. I've gone 15 minutes in this video, so hope you enjoyed it. 1984 obviously was a brilliant year. Please tell me if I've left anything out. I might have done. It might actually be on my list, and I had to just leave it out because I had so many. Let me know what you think was going to be on my 1985 list. Remember, before you put any live stuff on there from Live After Death, I'm not going to include live songs, just album tracks, studio album tracks. So yeah. Let me know what you think of my video. Please put me your suggestions below. I'm sure you're going to have a go at me about a few things. But let me know what you think is going to be in 1985. That'd be great. And hopefully do the Whitesnake video later. Right, cheers. Bye.